Right, hello there. It's Monday the 11th of November, just getting my months right. Last week we released the demo. So now, having kind of got some of the feedback from the demo and all of that, I am moving on to demo 2. And this is going to be a little bit of a shorter video because I'm just going to show you kind of the small steps. I've been working on a lot of things in the background of just getting the rest of the game scoped out. And one of the things it's made me realise is that the dialogue needs to be better. The game needs to be more fleshed out, as in, like, I have an idea of where the game's going to be. And if anything, the vertical slice that the demo was is kind of not really as tall, if we're going to use that analogy, as I wanted it to be. As in, the vertical slice, I needed sort of something more, because the scope of the game has increased. Like, it needs more stuff. So I'm going to show you something very innocuous, but it's a step towards something to make it more replayable. And you might notice, as we move on, that there is this very odd room. And the interesting thing about this room, bar its kind of little bugs, is that this room is auto-generated. So, generated at runtime rather than built sort of by me, which is how all the other levels are. So, that's the kind of direction that we're going to head. And I've realised that we need to slow down the pace of development. So I'm going to jump over to the other thing that I want to show you this week that I've been working on. And we'll talk about how we're going to slow down, how at the moment there's too much thrown in the demo, and how we're going to then generate simpler puzzles. So this is how we are going to generate simpler puzzles. So there's two parts of generating puzzles. There's one part which is like the the spatial part of the puzzle, so the rooms, and we'll get onto that later. But then there is this part which is the kind of continuity of the puzzle. So the way that I have it set up here is each puzzle has an entrance and an exit. And I want to write an algorithm that generates the entrance. So basically, the way this algorithm works is that it starts with the kind of whole puzzle, and it tries to place things in the room. So you can see here it's just placed a treasure node. And then if it hasn't found the end, it continues to have a chance to try and place things. So we place another treasure here. And yeah, so here, we place the switch. And the switch requires a door. So the switch requires a door, and the door needs to be placed somewhere. So the door is placed in this other area. So now we're working backwards, and that area, where are we? So that door is placed in that area, and that door is connected to this room, and it is connected. This gets a bit confusing. It's connected to a new switch, which is, I'm just going to complete this. Auto-complete it instead of trying to explain what it's doing. Right. So we've got an entrance. So as you walk into the room, you've got an entrance, and then you've got treasure, and there's a switch and a door, right? And that switch opens the door behind this area, and then you've got this door, it's opened by this switch. And you can see some of the kind of stuff is not quite working 100%. It's great. It was like, these videos are always where the bugs get shown, but theoretically you might get into a situation where that switch is also in there. So that switch, so this room has 2 switches. First switch opens this door, and the second switch opens this door. And then that door goes to this area. Oh, it's actually got 3 switches, and 3 switches opens up the final door with a treasure in, and that has an exit. Now, the areas are physical spaces that we can render. Doors are things we can place in those spaces. So we can kind of gather, and I'm going to set some limits on this algorithm at some point, but we can gather that we are going to set, like this area has 1 input and 1 output, so we know that we just need like a hallway in essence. And then, but if we had multiple doors, we'd know that it would have like 2 outputs. So you'd pick a generator room with kind of 2 doors somewhere, and physically render that. I'm going to work on the spatial stuff once this continuity is done. As you can tell here, the kind of space it doesn't have continuity just yet. But yeah, we'll work out what's going wrong. Well, today I'm going to work on it a little bit further today. But yeah, so that's the update video for this week. I will update with any new changes. I might also show some tooling that I'm going to be doing over the next kind of month or 2, so you might see more of the editor as well, and how we actually build the demo. But yeah, overall, we're starting to get somewhere with this continuity, even though it's not perfect. And hopefully in a period of time, you'll be able to see how this has turned into something bigger. Right, I'm just going to show you just something that is... God, it's really highlighting. I should have found a step that was perfect, a random index that was perfect, like a seed. But yeah, there's clearly something wrong with the switch node. But yeah, this kind of example where you've got a door for the entrance, and then you've got another area, and then another door, and that goes to the exit. So that's more of a kind of simple outlook, but you can kind of see what the general thinking is of how we're going to process these. There's another node to go in. Well, another 2 nodes, an AND node and an OR node, which you will have seen me talk all the way back when I was doing the monthly update videos. But yeah, so thanks for watching, and have a good week, and I'll see you next week for the update. Oh, and don't forget, you can play the demo now. I'm going to put the link in the description, and yeah, subscribe to see the progress to demo 2. Thanks for watching. Bye.